What's going on, you guys? It's Rahul here, back again with another video, and today, with the NBA's regular season, recently wrapping up, and believe me, the regular season, I have to say, went by very fast. I remember when the season started, it happened just a few days ago. But yeah, getting to the point, the NBA regular season, it recently wrapped up, and I thought it would be a good idea and, a good time to come out with my picks and predictions for who I think will win the awards, each award this year. So yeah, with that being said, before we get started, make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, as it really helps out the channel. Let's try to get this video to 12 likes. I know that might be a little, it might be quite a bit, but I do believe we can do it. Let's make this video do very well and hit that like button. Let's try to get 12 likes, as I said before. And of course, if you guys are new and enjoy the content on here, make sure to subscribe so you do not miss out on any new videos like this. Plus, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and it would mean a lot to me if we could hit that goal. And once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I will finally do a face reveal. But yeah, with that being said, let's not waste any more time and just get to my award. So yeah, I first want to go over the MVP, and yeah, we are starting out with the most exciting award, and for the MVP, there are a lot of good candidates, believe me, alright, but I ultimately went with Nikoi Jokic. Now, I know I might be a little bit biased here since I am a Denver Nuggets fan, and I believe me, I probably had a little bit of bias, but if you ask me, Nikoi Jokic makes a great case. First off, he really took his game to another level, alright? He played every game of the season, and it was just fantastic overall, alright? He is one of the best players in the NBA and established himself as arguably the best big man in the NBA. He had a very good stats, so and he also led his team to a top 3 seed in the Western Conference, which, by the way, it is loaded in the Western Conference. It is just loaded, and to be honest, Nikoi Jokic just fits all of my, all the criteria to win MVP, and my criteria, to give some context, is that you got to be a really good player. Obviously, I think you should have decently impressive stats. They don't have to be out of this world, but decently impressive stats at the very least. And you need to lead your team to the top 3 seed, and Nikoi Jokic, he did all of those things. Now, Stephen Curry and Joel Embiid do make compelling cases. Joel Embiid, he was obviously very good, and he did lead his team to the 1 seed. However, Nikoi Jokic did play more games, so that was a big reason why I picked Nikoi Jokic over Joel Embiid. Not only that, but going to Stephen Curry, I know there's been a lot of, talk about how he should win MVP, and believe me, Stephen Curry, he's been fantastic this year. There's been talks about this being, his best season yet. Now, I don't know if it's his best season yet, but it certainly is one of his best seasons, throughout his career. However, while I do believe he's the most valuable to his team, I don't think he is the MVP, if that makes sense, because he definitely had really impressive stats and is obviously one of the best players in the NBA. But he did not lead his team to a top 3 seed. Now, obviously, it's no easy thing, considering the fact that Stephen Curry's roster was not amazing, but at the same time, I feel like the MVP should be able to lead his team to a top 3 to 4 seed. So, yeah, that's basically why I did not choose Stephen Curry. But yeah, for MVP, I got Nikoi Jokic. But anyways, moving on to the Defensive Player of the Year, there are a lot of good candidates for this one. I would not be mad if you were to disagree with this pick. Believe me, there's a lot of good choices, but ultimately, I went with Rudy Gobert for Defensive Player of the Year. To put it simply, Rudy Gobert is one of the best defensive players in the league. Now, I know a lot of people love to just make fun of him because, the whole, the fact that he kind of shut down the league a year ago, and he plays for the Utah Jazz, and believe me, basically no one takes the Utah Jazz seriously. But, Rudy Gobert, as I said before, he's just one of the best defensive players in the league. He led the league in blocks, so there's some nice stats, you could say. Plus, the Jazz were 4th in defensive rating, so that's basically why I chose Rudy Gobert. Now, you can make a case for Ben Simmons or Bam Adebayo, because they're definitely more versatile as defensive players, but at the same time, Rudy Gobert, even though he isn't an elite perimeter defender, the guy is just so good at protecting the rim to the point where, he's just one of the best defensive players in the league. Now, I would not, and as I said before, I would not be mad if you chose Ben Simmons or Bam Adebayo, but ultimately, I went with Rudy Gobert. But moving on to the next award, I got Most Improved Player, and I feel like almost all of us can agree with this one, and I got Julius Randle winning it. Now, of course, I mean, shout out to all the guys who could be candidates for all of these awards, but Julius Randle's improvement was just, I mean, you could say it was historically good. He just improved so much as a player. He just improved tremendously, alright? I mean, at first, the guy was just viewed as an empty stats, like, he's a sixth man at best on a championship level team, a guy who with, like, commit a lot of turnovers, had terrible decision-making skills, played with, like, basically, like, he had no mind, like, he was just, I mean, he just put up empty stats and all that stuff. I mean, he was just, like, clowned on for being an empty stats guy, not being, like, a real winning player. However, Julius Randle, I mean, he improved tremendously as a scorer. The guy, his scoring numbers, I mean, they didn't go up astronomically, but he did improve scoring-wise, and he really improved as a shooter. I mean, I believe he shot over 40% from 3 this season, and the guy improved as a playmaker to the point where he's a very good playmaker, and his decision-making really improved. I mean, all I can say is that Julius Randle really improved a lot as a player, even to the point where he was selected as an all-star. Plus, he led the New York Knicks to the 4th seed, so, I mean, what can I really say? Julius Randle should win Most Improved Player, and I think it would be a crime if he did not win Most Improved Player. I mean, Jeremy Grant, you can point to his scoring jump, but I mean, I have to say, while he did improve, I don't think he improved to the point where he should be Most Improved Player, as Jeremy Grant, a big reason why he had that scoring jump is because he was on the Detroit Pistons, and let's be honest, if he was on a team like the Boston Celtics or the Denver Nuggets, I guess, and the Miami Heat or the Atlanta Hawks or, you know, any of those title contending teams, I doubt he'd average those stats. But yeah, with that being said, let's now go to our next award, and that is Rookie of the Year. And like Defensive Player of the Year, there are a lot of good choices for that. I mean, to me, the top 3 candidates would probably be something like LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, and Tyrese Halliburton. There are a lot of good candidates, as I said before, but ultimately, I went with LaMelo Ball. Now, he did miss some time, I will say that, but LaMelo Ball, simply put, was just very good this season. I mean, there's talks that he's already he's already better than Lonzo Ball, right? Anyways, LaMelo Ball, all I can say is that he was just really good. The guy was a very good playmaker, and that was one viewed as arguably his biggest strength coming into the NBA. And the guy was a good scorer as well. Plus, he was very surprising as a shooter. I mean, coming out of the NBL, like there's a lot of concerns about his shooting because of his form. Plus, in the NBL, his efficiency numbers were not good. However, he was very good as a shooter, and while he isn't Stephen Curry or anything like that, he was still pretty good. Not only that, but as a leader, he was very good. As the Hornets, I mean, they were a really solid team, and right now they're in the play-in tournament, and there's a chance that they do end up making the playoffs this year. Now, I mean, and while there are other factors besides LaMelo Ball, all I can say is that LaMelo Ball was flat out amazing this year. I mean, so were the other rookies, and you can make a case for the other guys, and I would not be mad if you were to pick the other guys over LaMelo Ball, but ultimately, I chose LaMelo. And then getting to the 6th man of the year, I think we can all agree on this one. It's Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson, simply put, was just fantastic off the bench for the Utah Jazz. They were one of the best teams in the league. He averaged 18 points per game off the bench and was just a fantastic scorer. No, for them. Now he didn't have like Stephen Curry level efficiency, but let's be real. Almost no one's going to reach that level of efficiency, and he wasn't like the most efficient scorer, but he was still decently efficient. And Jordan Clarkson, there's no denying how good of a scorer he was for the Utah Jazz coming off the bench. But yeah, with that being said, let's now move on to our final award, and that is Coach of the Year. And believe me, there are a lot of good candidates for this award, like a lot of the other awards, but ultimately, I went with Tom Thibodeau of the New York Knicks. Now, Monty Williams and Quinn Snyder and even Doc Rivers, they make very good cases for for winning this award, But ultimately, I went with Tom Thibodeau because, well, first off, I mean, look at what he did to the New York Knicks. He turned them from an absolute joke. And I mean, being a Knicks fan was basically like trying to make yourself depressed challenge. I mean, being a Knicks, I mean, he turned the New York Knicks from an absolute joke with basically no future to a team that's a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. He established a good culture there. He also, gave them an identity. I mean, just looking at what he did to the New York Knicks, I mean, that's really why I have him, as Coach of the Year. Now, Monty Williams and Quinn Snyder and Doc Rivers, they all have better records than the New York Knicks, but, I mean, Tom Thibodeau, he led them to a good record, and he really turned this team around. And I mean, simply put, I just had to give it to Tom Thibodeau. But yeah, with that being said, that'll wrap up today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to comment down below who you guys think your predictions and picks for the NBA awards. Of course, before we end this video off, make sure to hit that like button. Well, just another reminder to make sure to hit that like button, as we are trying to get 10 likes on this video. Plus, it really does help out the channel. Well, as it really does help out the channel. Also, subscribe if you guys are new and enjoy the content on here, so you do not miss out on any new videos like this. Plus, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and once we hit our goal, I will finally do a face reveal. But yeah, with that being said, I'm out, you guys.